Jem, what's been a wonderful tournament for Switzerland so far. Personally, certainly in my lifetime, the best Switzerland side and the best run we've seen at a World Cup. Absolutely,
making another record for themselves. I thought this game was still great to watch, even though it was still 0-0. Defensively, both teams were so good.
We love a 0-0, don't we?
We do. It was, yeah, because both teams were still going after it, throwing numbers forward, but defensively, both teams were getting numbers behind the ball. They were so tight, so compact, and look, fine margins, went all the way to penalties, but credit to Switzerland and stepping up on the fifth pen, absolutely buried it.
And I think a lot of people, Ian, were saying coming into this game with Manzambi out, that they didn't really have a chance against Colombia, but I thought they covered for that big man missing really, really well, didn't they?
Listen, they did a great job defensively. They only had 2 shots on target in this whole game, so I can't exactly say it was a great spectacle in front of goal. Murat Yakin had a game plan, and he played it out to perfection. And you have to, going up against Colombia, all their supporters, albeit I will say that Colombia, they're missing firepower, right? Yeah. Lucho Diaz didn't really turn up this whole competition. There wasn't really that killer striker, and I think everyone, as the tournament went on, recognised that Colombia's missing a killer. They just didn't have it, and that was clearly evident in this game today. Switzerland gave them opportunities. The last opportunity in extra time skied over the top of the crossbar after that one error defensively. But this game was very, very close. It could have gone either way. Obviously, comes down to penalty kicks. It's a horrible way to lose. It's a great way to win. Now you build momentum going into that massive game against Argentina. It's hard not to love Murat Yakin, though. He looks like a villain from a movie, doesn't he? He's just got that hair, glasses, a bit of a nice tan on him. He's a good-looking man, but he knows what he's doing. Tactically, superbly well organised. Minus Manzambi, who's got 3 goals and 2 assists in this game. Granit Xhaka does all the work, and then Elvedi along the back line. I thought he was done, Elvedi, about 3 years ago, but he was on point.
And there was a brilliant comment just come in before this one we're showing now that Granit Xhaka reminds whoever it was, sorry, I couldn't read out who made the comment, but plays a lot like Toni Kroos when he was playing at Real Madrid. And I think that's a great comparison with the way that Granit Xhaka goes about the game. Obviously, in his whole career, even back to when he was playing at Arsenal, but in the latter stages of his career, as he's developed the way he's played for those later years, he plays a lot like Toni Kroos did in the last few years he did at Real Madrid, doesn't he?
Yeah, he dictates play. You can tell him, even from a leadership standpoint, he's constantly talking to his teammates. Even during the penalty shootout, I loved it when it clipped to him. If ever someone missed, he was rallying around, constantly communicating. That is a top leader. But you're right, he knows where his game is at now, and I think that is the beauty of football, the players that are still at the top of his game, at his age, still managing the way... Because you have to adapt. You have to. You're not going to be the same player you are mid-20s, well into your 30s. So the way that he manages that, pick and chooses when to go forward, dictates the play, still tries to get on the ball as much as possible. He was still top.
Yeah, he was very good. I think the leadership quality is clearly there. We've seen what he's done at pretty much every single club he's gone to. I mean, I remember the most recent impact that he had at Leverkusen when they went undefeated all season long. Xabi Alonso relied heavily on him. Leadership quality in the middle of the field. It's almost like having a coach there. I'm sure you got to know him a little bit as well, the Gunners. He was just a leader. Inside that middle of the field, just talking and dictating where everybody went to. And then he goes to Sunderland and you think, what a crazy move that is, going to Sunderland. And then all of a sudden, Sunderland get to European football because of players like him. So to see the Swiss having this type of success, it's down to players like him, motivating. I mentioned Elvedi along the back line. I thought he was done years ago. I thought his career was over. But to see that type of a performance today was really outstanding. And they have some weapons as well. I'd like to see a little bit more from Bril Mbolo up top. Not enough quality. Certainly a bit of service was lacking from them. But I do think that they have enough right now, tactically organised. They're difficult to break down. 11 games unbeaten now. Now you go up against the world champions. I certainly wouldn't bet against the Swiss side, I'm telling you now, man.
I think defensively they've grown into it hugely, though. I've talked already about defensively this team, and don't get me wrong, absolutely they were missing Manzambi up top. But that was only their second clean sheet in this tournament. So that is the kind of momentum you need going into then a team like Argentina, who we're talking about some of the best strike force in the entire tournament. So that is a huge... And who knows how big the injury is for Manzambi, how long he's out for, maybe he's back. All of those moments, huge going into the next round.
Do you think Colombia, Ian, I mean, certainly they'll look on this as a disappointment. They would have expected to beat Switzerland. Were maybe guilty of looking to that game against Argentina. Everyone was talking about it, the South American battle. and not getting business done here against a team that they felt, as I said, they should beat?
I don't think they underestimated Switzerland. I think they recognised the Swiss were on a 10-game unbeaten stretch coming into this game. They knew that there was a threat there. Obviously, no man's Zambi boosts your confidence in some reason, some way, somehow. But I also think they knew that they were going to have to defend for large parts of this game, but also take their opportunities when it happened in front of goal. Davidson Sanchez, I thought, was excellent along the back line. Obviously, not great at taking a penalty kick, but what he did do throughout the game was very, very good. Good leader alongside Lukumi. I mean, they're excellent defensively. They're difficult to beat, Colombia. Terrific supporters, but I wanted to see more offensively throughout the whole tournament from them.
I totally agree.
That's what was missing, right? James Rodriguez didn't really turn up, and at 34 years old, I didn't really expect him to turn up. Luis Diaz is probably the biggest disappointment, I think, from this group. Because after the season he had at Bayern Munich, he played 51 games, and the guy was electrifying in the Bundesliga. Perfect partnership alongside, obviously, Harry Kane, the way he took opportunities, but also created opportunities. And he looked a little tired, maybe fatigued. I wouldn't blame him. He's played 51 games at Bayern Munich, plus all the international games as well.
Does he play better, when we've seen him in club football, obviously for Liverpool and now Bayern, does he play better when he's got a goal-scoring striker to feed off? Because Luis Suarez...
Who doesn't, Adam?
No, I know, but what
question.
I'm saying is Luis Suarez for Colombia just wasn't scoring and didn't really look that clinical going forward. And did that affect...
Well, they're all
Diaz?
hoping that he was going to be the man, Luis Suarez. He gets his opportunity in game one, and it didn't turn out to be the case. I mean, they just don't have that killer, right? That's a big disappointment. John Duran sitting on the bench, you're thinking, is he ever going to get an opportunity to come off here and score a goal? I'd love to see that. But listen, they don't have enough weapons. They don't have enough talent up front. They certainly don't have a killer up top. But there was players who played offensively, like James, obviously, like we saw from the left-hand side with Lucho Diaz. They just let themselves down a little bit. I think they'll look back at this game and think about the opportunities that they had. The one kid who came off the bench there, Campas, he was good impact. But the one chance he got with a defensive error in extra time, skied it over the top of the crossbar. Me and Jen are saying, hit the target. Like, all you have to do is test the goalkeeper and you've got a chance of scoring.
Am I right in saying Munoz is their top goal scorer with 2 at right back?
He got 3, didn't he?
He got 3, I think, at the end of the day. Yeah, he scored 2 in the group stage.
Yeah,
for that to be on reflection, just to add to your point, they were lacking attacking force. They were all really central for me, whether it was Suarez or Diaz, always wanted to come in central. They missed out-and-out wingers to make the most of the whole tournament for me. They kept trying to go central. And Munoz, for me, obviously, was a standout, scoring that amount of goals. But for that being from your right back, if that is where your threat is, get forward. Keep doing that rotation. They just weren't doing it enough.
And it continues a theme for Colombia in the knockout stages of World Cups. They have disappointed. They've put themselves in opportunities to go on a good run. They could have made the quarterfinals here, and they haven't done it. When you have got that kind of record, and certainly Colombia are a proud nation, obviously a big footballing nation in South America, I think they'll be feeling that one day we're going to have to make that breakthrough where we get to maybe a semi or a final of a World Cup, no?
I feel very sorry for the Colombians, especially the ones that work at this network. You know who you are, but also the ones who are watching on, because they're all around North America. And you can hear them loud and proud supporting their team. It wasn't for the lack of trying from the supporters around. They pushed this team. I just think that going into the competition, there was high expectation. And as they started to win games, maybe the expectation grew bigger than actually the quality we were witnessing. They looked a little fatigued up front. Solid defensively. I thought Davidson Sanchez was excellent today. But I do think that they were just not strong enough offensively. They will look back at this competition, Adam, and they will think, that is a big chance we have given away. Because I actually think, this is a crazy comment for me to make, I think they would have been better suited up against Argentina than they were against Switzerland.
I agree.
Argentina are not as good a team as Switzerland, but they got a few killers, right? So I actually think Colombia would have looked forward to that game and might have just got past Argentina.